Hello there, my name is Jacob Rickman, and well, things probably look a little bit different than what you're used to. Just because this is Minecraft, as you can probably notice. And the reason for this, right, as many of you know, I am an author. I have a book series that I'm currently publishing titled Arikala Academy, A Wave of Courage. And what I have been doing the last couple of months, in addition to doing writing and teaching and everything else I'm doing, I have been working on building the setting of Arikala Academy, namely the school Arikala Academy, in Minecraft. And so this video I'm just going to kind of show you around what I've built so far, talk about some future plans, both in terms of this as well as just general writing plans and whatnot, and we'll go from there. So first of all, we have the Champion's Grove, basically a small secluded little area that houses the Champion's Blade, a sword in the stone sort of thing, wherein there is a prophecy that states that eventually, in a time of need, someone will be able to pull the sword from the stone and will basically save the world. So, fun times. So we've got the sword there. It's even glowing a little bit, adding some fun ambiance. But let's go ahead and preview the rest of the campus. So if we start walking off down this way, you'll notice some Kraken banners. These are nice little blue banners I've made here. As we walk up to the statue that guards the dormitory for House Shield, right? It is a giant Kraken carrying a shield. And if you were to go down there, you would not see much. It's just kind of a winding path that doesn't lead anywhere yet. But eventually, walking down there would be the dormitory for House Shield. If we begin walking over this way, off to the right of the statue, then we begin there's a little wooded area. One of the things I found as I was working on building this is there's a lot of little wooded areas. So I built a lot of custom trees, put in a lot of foliage, just kind of had fun with it. If we go over there, and as you can see, I have a little landing platform for where I do a lot of the copy and pasting of some of the custom trees I've built. But we have some little plinths here that will eventually house statues that I'll make out of armor stands. But as we go over here, we reach a kind of dining area for the cafeteria, and you can see the banners for all three houses are kind of spread throughout here. This is the outdoor dining area. Those of you who have read the first book will know this is where a gargantula gets summoned, about midway through the book. And this is the cafeteria, right? Giant tree kind of in the middle, forming the roof. Got a little serving line over here, and then just a ton of different tables where students would sit and eat their lunches. And this build is pretty much complete. I maybe have a few little things I have to do, but for the most part, it's pretty well complete. And then if we start making our way out back towards the south here, we end up kind of towards the administration building, the principal's towers kind of flanking on either edge. And we have this nice little fountain, again, kind of lamppost with the banners. And then we have this nice little area leading up to the Arikala Library. And kind of built some nice little foliage. We have the statues, Jack and Jeff, who are hanging out here. Bonus points if anyone can figure out what that's a reference to. And you can see I have some little wool blocks with some signs up here. Eventually, I want to have some actual little redstone contraptions that will actually have some sort of interactives. I'm still not quite sure whether I want to release this as a server that people can walk around in, or simply just do a world download somewhere like Planet Minecraft. But eventually I do want it to be something that other people can visit and enjoy, especially if they've read my books. And so eventually I kind of want to have some redstone stuff that will have some interactives in here. But if we walk up here, we enter the Arikala Library, and it's not quite complete. I need to work on building a lot of the tables and stuff, but you can see I've got a general layout for the bookshelves. We've got, kind of an upper story. We've got a little decorated little, where bathrooms are basically. I need to make signage for that, a little study room sort of thing. The library's still a work in progress, but we're getting there. Then as we make our way out, we've got a little plinth for another statue I'll put there. Come back to the fountain, and we're kind of making our way towards the main stretch of the Arikala Academy with the administration building here. Got some nice little spruce trees. This is meant to kind of give the sense of fencing that is kind of like iron rod fencing with little spikes on top. We've got some little seating areas. You can see, the dirt and grass is kind of worn away from people using this area a lot. And then we come up here, we've got the administration building, got the big A for Arikala. And we come through here. And this building, again, is not quite 100% finished. Still got some work to do on the first floor, primarily. But got some little office rooms up there. Got the lighting up around here and stuff. It's a work in progress. But as we make our way over this way, we can see a little tunnel that will lead over to another section of the campus. I'll show that off in a moment. But we also have, and then we have another tower here that houses for the principal. And then over here is by far one of my favorite builds that I've finished here, which is the amphitheater. And as we make our way to the front, you can tell the top isn't quite finished completely, but we're getting there. But this is essentially where students come into the academy to be placed into one of the three houses, either house sword, shield, or spell. And so there's a lot of seating. Concerts are held here as well as, other maybe like celebratory graduations and stuff like that. But it's by far the oldest structure in the academy because everything kind of got built around it. We have the iron door. One of the ideas I have is that eventually there will be like a button or a lever or something that people can press here, and they'll randomly get sorted, and they'll have some fireworks go off. They'll kind of tell them which of the three houses they've been sorted into. And if we make our way up these steps to the right, we can see a kind of covered pathway that leads back to the main quad. I'll actually go back out through here. You can see kind of, again, little overgrown areas. There's a lot of foliage around here. I'm not quite sure whether I want to keep some of this tall grass or cut it down, make it seem like, oh yes, they're actually maintaining it, or give it sort of a wild appearance. I'm still kind of figuring that out. But in any case, we can come and follow this tunnel, which has each of the three banners for each of the three houses, and that'll take us towards our next section. So as we enter out here, we can see another little statue plinth. This is where the Champions Grove is, right over there. But then this leads us up to the statue for House Spell, right? Underneath of which would be the dormitory. You can kind of see a little forested area kind of blocking some of the views. Again, here I kind of want to have maybe like a trivia mini game. So maybe an Arikala Academy trivia mini game, just people can play just to test their trivia, various things. But over here, then we have the old classrooms building. And I meant to kind of evoke sort of an older feel here, make it look a little bit more weathered, kind of darker roofing, kind of have a little bit just different, kind of this copper dome that's been seen a little bit of weathering there. Over here we have what's meant to be like bike racks. So instead of bikes, we have mine carts. Just to simulate the fact that some kids, obviously to get around this campus, would probably maybe use bikes and such to make their way across a little bit more quickly. But if we come into here, a good chunk of this is already, at least the layout is completed, though the buildings themselves are not quite, or the rooms themselves rather, are not quite filled. As you can see, it's just a bunch of empty rooms at the moment, but we are working on getting there. And as we continue making our way north through campus, you see again little kind of small walls. We got some park benches, some other like seating for students as they might be like just resting or studying up outside. We got some more statue plinths, and then we do have the STEAM Center, which is kind of meant to be more of a more modern building, a lot of glass, and eventually is where you'd see a lot of the robotics, a lot of the computer science courses, and that sort of a thing. Because while yes, this is a magical school, it does take place in a modern setting, and therefore they're going to be having kids who are going to be learning things like computer technology and whatnot. Obviously, it's a little unfinished still as well. Nothing around here is quite finished. I'm still kind of working on things as I go along, but we got here and then make our way over. This will kind of be a little seating area. We'll have some more tables and stuff like that where kids would be able to sit at, and ignore that view. But if you look across here, you can kind of get a nice little view of the school a little bit, right? Where you can see a lot of the things. See, just kind of, I added a lot of greenery, a lot of custom trees, and I like it. It's a nice view. Making our way over is building that's still very much in progress, but that's going to be the new classroom building. So once again, kind of going for a little bit more of a modern-y look, a lot of glass, We have a nice little fountain outside, but going for a lot of glass. It'll also be where we have like the orchestra and band hall, so I'm working on building those at the moment, but got a little bit more seating around here, a little more greenery. This whole northern section of campus still needs a lot of work. Still need to build the teacher dormitories, the Coley Stadium, just some other things over here. But as we make our way up, we can find ourselves into the Magics building. So this is where students would learn about sorcery and spellcraft and stuff, especially the advanced students. And so this room's a little bit more mysterious. We've got the blue flame torches around. What does lead us down here, kind of back out, and that actually then takes us to the house sword statue, where we can find the phoenix with the sword across, right? And once again, underground, there isn't anything at the moment, but we've got a nice little spot for it eventually. But I do really like how these statues came out. I feel like they look rather impressive and actually look like what they're supposed to look like. So I'm quite pleased with those builds. And we can kind of cut across here, and I like the idea that the campus has a lot of just little paths where there are some of these overgrown areas, some of these like forested areas that students, will want to walk through, and so they cut through. So getting from house sword to house shield, there's just a little kind of worn path where there isn't as much grass, kind of cuts through the forest a little bit. And then if we go over to the left of house shield, we have the gymnasium and the pool, kind of the athletic center. And this building is actually pretty much complete at this point. We've got another little bike rack spot. And as we go in here, we have kind of like a main foyer. We have the gymnasium over here. And I guess I did lie, because I meant to have kind of some like team spots where they would, like a locker room type place where they could go. I don't have those done yet, but we have like our little gymnasium. So we've got a whole like basketball court that could be converted for some other sports like volleyball and whatnot. We've got some lighting up here, got a scoreboard. Over here we have just some general like changing rooms and stuff. So some individual changing rooms with some lockers, where students, if they're going to be using, if it's just general hours, they're just going to be changing for athletics and whatnot, they can go there. Or if they want to change for the pool that's over here. So I've got like a nice big pool over here, some stands where people can watch if they had to, or like swim meets and stuff. The pool does go pretty deep, as you can see, because it's a little deep there. So we got a deep end of the pool here. Got some nice little just banners that are just meant to be kind of fun, add some color to stuff. And then we've also got a little bit of a more shallow end pool. So like if I go in here, like I can still just stand up in the water. So for the kids who are maybe still have to learn how to swim, or a little less confident, or maybe just want to splash around, they can go there, versus over here we've got a nice deep end. And then the last little part I really haven't shown yet is just this section over here, which is kind of like a little ruined structure, maybe from long before the school was around, or maybe it was a tower at some point, since it's a little circular, but at this point it's not really much of anything, and so they've just kind of converted it into an area for some extra seating and whatnot. So we've got a little like tree swing here, and we've got some extra benches and whatnot, and just leads up over to the Advanced Magics building. And as I release more books and the setting changes a little bit with each book, I do intend to maybe add some things or make some changes just to follow along with that story. And yeah, just kind of have fun with this. So let me know what your thoughts are, if you think there's any ways I might be able to improve some things. But in general, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.